So if you've got the time and the energy today to be doing something a little bit stronger, then these are some of the movements that I was doing, particularly through the second trimester and into the third. I'm going to be honest, I haven't done them for a couple of weeks. Things are really slowing down for me now, and mostly I'm just walking to stay strong in the legs. But it is really helpful to keep as much strength as we can in the legs and around the pelvis and the lower back to support our support the pelvis. So these are things that I was doing through most of my pregnancy. So from the lunges that we were doing before, you can come up to stand and come into a standing lunge. So taking the foot about a leg's distance back, left foot to begin, lifting that heel, bending the front knee, and then seeing if you can stay nice and long in the lower back and quite upright, so we're not kind of arching in the lower back here. Just experiment with how far down that back knee can come in a way that feels still stable and strong and supported for you. So we don't want to push that too far. Just come down as far as feels comfortable, hands to your hips, and then lengthening when you feel ready. So you can begin to connect that with your breath, breathing out to come down and in to come back up. And I was building up to doing that 3 times, 3 sets of 10 of these on each side. Just going to work you through one today. And then the last time that you come down, just pause and pulsing gently. 10 little pulses. And that really builds some heat in the legs, coming out. But I think there's something probably quite useful about working with some fairly intense sensation for a short period of time and then having a rest. So switching sides, so we'll start with the 10 slower lunges, coming as low as feels comfortable for you today. So staying strong, feeling in the knees and the hips. Seven, 8, 9 and 10. And on this 10th one, pausing and pulsing for 10, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And coming back up. So if you're just starting with that, you might start with 1 set on each side, and you can build up as things become a little bit stronger. So let's give our legs a break, coming down and working a little bit with the strength of the arms and the chest. So we're going to come into all fours, hands underneath the shoulders to begin, and then taking the left leg back, bending the elbows relatively close to the body, just allowing the heart to dip as far as feels comfortable, and then pushing back up. And we only want to move as far as we can with the spine nice and long and straight. So that might not be a big movement today or ever, and that's fine, as long as you can feel some strength in the arms as you work. Great, and then knees back to the ground, have a little wriggle and a roll. And take the hands slightly wider take the other leg back, and this time elbows are bending out to the side, so you'll feel this more through the chest. And again, working through a set of 10. And then back up, coming back to that high kneeling position, have a little shake out. So you could do another set now, or you could mix and match the next movement with the arm movements. So coming back up to stand, taking the feet quite wide and turning the toes out. Again, this is one to be sensitive with if you've got any pelvic girdle pain, just see how it suits you. So knees coming wide, hips moving back, so we're in a nice wide squat, feeling strong in the legs, feeling the strength and support there. Make sure things are feeling balanced left and right, and then as you breathe in, coming all the way up. As you breathe out, knees wide, hips moving back. Next time that you come down, let's pause here. Bring your hands forwards. Imagine that you're holding a ball. The elbows can stay nice and soft, shoulders soft. We're going to shift the weight gently over towards the right as we turn the ball. And then turning it back as we shift gently towards the left. So staying as low in the hips as feels comfortable for you. Finding a speed and rhythm that works for you. I'm going to make this the last time through, so coming back to centre. Deep breath in, and hands coming down. You bring the feet back in, lovely. Have a little shake out through the legs. Give them a little pat down. Say thank you for working so hard. And then we'll come to lie down. So if you're mixing and matching arms and legs, if you wanted to do a few more sets of the arm movements, you could do another one of those and then come back to doing that big wide squat. I'm going to move straight down to the ground because that's my favourite place, and we'll do a few movements to just keep things kind of strong and supported around the pelvis. So one of the ways to help us avoid pelvic girdle pain is to stay strong there, not to overstretch. So come to lie down. You might want a cushion under your head. You could lengthen that bottom arm down. Bend the knees and bring the heels in towards you. Hand at your top hip. I want to see if we can imagine the hips stacking on top of each other, the shoulders stacking on top of each other, and then both staying quite stable. And then see if you can imagine that you've got like a blueberry underneath your waist and you don't want to squash it. So just notice the difference between that and kind of collapsing down and letting go through the belly. So very gentle engagement to keep yourself supported there. And then lifting the heels away from the ground, gently bringing that top knee open just as far as feels comfortable. So be really sensitive to how this is for the pelvis. You might want to connect this with your breath, breathing in to return breathing out to open. Let's see what works for you. Great. So I want to do 10 of those movements, and then feet back down. Let that top leg get long, and circling forwards for 10. And then backwards for 10. And then lifting that leg gently 10 times. Doesn't have to be too high, just as long as you're still feeling strong, feeling some engagement around the outside of the hip. And then we're going to come all the way up, over to the other side. And those same movements on the other side. So a little blueberry under the waist, lifting the heels, and then opening. Dropping the heels down, lengthening the top leg, coming forwards for 10. And then back for 10. And then gently lifting. 10 raises through the leg. Bring that knee forwards, give the hip a little bit of a rub. And then bringing yourself up to do a little stretch through the outside of the hip. We'll start with the legs long and bring the outside of the left ankle to rest just above the right knee. And you might find that already that's a little bit of a stretch. You might want to bend the right knee and just intensify that slightly. So see if you can keep the toes of the left foot pointing towards the left knee. And again, you don't want to be coming too far into any strong stretch sensations, so just gently stretching out those muscles that we've been working. Changing side when you're ready. Drawing the heart towards the leg will intensify that stretch slightly. So I was building those kind of movements into my practice 1 or 2 times a week, just to keep things kind of strong, and I hope they're useful to you.